Hello, everyone. We are back once again with the Total NASL Roundtable. I'm here with Paul, and we're going to talk about the NASL Atlanta Trust. How are you tonight, Paul?
Doing very well, John. How you doing?
I'm doing good things. So let's start talking about the trust, and let's start by talking about the aims for the trust.
The primary aim for the trust is that there be an NASL team in Atlanta next season. Now, that's a long shot, but we got to try. So the team, as it's currently constituted, is owned by the league. The name and the stadium are owned by Boris Drakunica, the previous owner of the team. The league bought the team from him in December. They are leasing the stadium. They are leasing the name. The team does not get parking fees, concession fees, advertising fees, none of that. There's no shirt sponsor, none of those usual revenue streams for a team. Those are going to the owner, except that there's no shirt sponsor. So several different ways this could go. First, the league could agree to sell to us 49%, assuming we find a majority owner. Division II requirements from U.S. Soccer are that the team have a majority owner with at least $20 million in assets and own 51% of the team, minimum 51% of the team. They can own as much more of that as they want. The trust that we're set up, what we hope to do is generate enough interest to attract some people. We know there's been interest, but they're either sitting on the fence or they looked at the situation and said no. But if there's a pot of money sitting out there with a trust that say, hey, we're in this too, they might say, well, okay, all right, now maybe it's a little more attractive. We know that the commissioner has been saying before the season even started that we have until the end of the season. October 31st is our last regular season game. After we sweep the Cosmos both matches in there in early October, we're going to be in the playoffs. So maybe we'll have 2 or 3 more games after that. But yeah, I see that smirk. So we're hoping that it goes on a little further than that. But what we're really I really think we're focusing on is convincing the league that they should stay in Atlanta. We're the 9th largest media market in the country. This is a league that has said that it wants to be Division I. You want to be Division I, you need Division I markets to attract a national TV contract. All due respect to our friends in Cary, North Carolina, but that media market's not going to attract NBC or ESPN or Fox to get a deal, even regionalized deals like on the Fox Sports Net stations. You need major media markets. You need New York, you need Atlanta, you need Miami, you need to go out west and get LA, you need to get Houston and Philadelphia and Chicago. You need to get those major media markets in this sport in order to attract the money from a big national television contract. So highly likely that they have already talked to people who are willing to buy the team and move it. I think, and I have no evidence to support this, but I think one of the reasons they haven't announced West Coast expansion yet is that they think Silverbacks might be one of those teams bought by somebody on the West Coast and moved out there. They've said they're going to start all those at the same time, but we'll see. The league was burned by Virginia and Oklahoma City in making announcements of ownership groups that everything fell through, that it just didn't work out. So I understand their reticence to actually put the words out there about what's going on there. So we're hoping that we generate enough interest to convince the league in a very short amount of time that they should continue to invest in the Atlanta market. Now, if that means we're going to go rent a high school stadium that's minimum 5,000 capacity, and there are about 25 of them here in Metro Atlanta, so that's not a problem, that we could rent for cheaper than what they're paying right now for Silverbacks Park, rebrand the team, and go from there. Just keep it going to see if we can find an owner who's willing to invest. I think that's our most likely possibility, that the league would continue to run it, and that the interest from the trust would be enough to convince them we need to continue to invest in the Atlanta market.
I saw that the commissioner, Bill Peterson, did tweet at the trust, and he wished you guys the best of luck. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, we've had a little contact with front office from the club and from the league, which I think is fantastic, because they're not just calling us and saying, that's nice, you're doing a great job, keep going. They're actually asking some very specific questions, which shows me, A, they're paying attention, and B, they wouldn't be taking that time if they already had something else signed, sealed, and delivered. They are interested in staying in the Atlanta market. I think by keeping the team afloat this year, they demonstrated that pretty carefully, but are pretty specific. But to take the time to ask those questions, to reach out to us and say, hey, we know what's going on. We want to know more. We don't know specifics. I think once we're firmly established, we've got all the business paperwork in and all that stuff's done, that we've proven ourselves to them that we're legitimate, that they'll get behind us and really help us get the word out and get that publicity out. One of the first things we asked the club was, you've got 10,000 Twitter followers. If you would tweet this out a few times, that's 10,000 more people, because my podcast is doing really well, but I got about 300 followers. So I don't have anywhere near the reach that they have, and they don't retweet most things that I retweet unless they're just kind of silly things or whatever. They don't retweet the podcast. They don't retweet things like that. So getting over 30,000 likes on the Silverbacks page on Facebook, getting stuff up on that Facebook page, getting stuff up on the web page, on the Silverbacks web page would be key, I think, to getting the word out. And I think if we prove ourselves to the league and prove ourselves capable of mounting a challenge to do this, I think they'll get behind us, and I think that'll make a huge difference in the publicity.
Do you think the league sees this support, and do you think that they will take over the club for next season if they can't find an owner?
I think if we can convince them that the losses they're incurring this year, which as I understand it are into seven figures, are worth it long term because the interest and support from Metro Atlanta is there, then yes, I think they would keep it going, and possibly even over the course of the winter sell us a percentage of the club, maybe 25% or whatever, so that we would have a say and a responsibility to help run that club. I could see that happening, and I think that'd be a real good thing.
And everyone wants to know on Twitter, they tweet at the trust and they want to know a business plan. So can you talk about a brief business plan? I don't know if you talk to the other members of the trust about the plan, but maybe a plan that you hope that the trust can follow.
Well, first and foremost, there are membership levels. Pay a little more, you get a little more. We are all hoping to offer things like discounted tickets, VIP packages to games, road trips to nearby games, that sort of thing. There's a whole list on the website about that list. If you invest this much, here's some things you get. Invest a little more, you get all that plus a little more. Some of those are a little fluid. Right now, we're asking for pledges because, frankly, we need an eye-popping number of people that have pledged their support, and an eye-popping number that will have the people in the New York office sit up and go, oh, okay, let's address that because that's something special. That's really what we need to have happen.
So if people watching this want to sign up, want to become a member, maybe can you talk about the petition and about what that's trying to do?
Well, there's a petition going around on petition.org. I know I've tweeted out that petition several times in the last couple of days. Oh, and look, my dog. Hi, say hi, Leo. Everybody say hi to Leo.
Leo's made an appearance on the Roundtable.
Yes, there
Go
we go.
Silverbacks.
There's your first internet appearance, Leo. Is that good? All right, lie down. Lie down. Come on, lie down. So that's, and again, that goes back to, we're trying to demonstrate to the league that there is league-wide support for this. Through the course of the season in my podcast, I've spoken to people from every single club in the league and people in the league office as well, and they all say, yes, of course we want the Silverbacks to continue. Let me know how I can help. Well, this is the first way they can help, by just signing their name on a petition. I've sent it out to every single supporters group of every single team in the league. I want you to pass this around. I don't care if it's only 3 people. We're not asking you to say you're Silverbacks fans. We're asking you to say we want a strong league, and a strong league has big, strong markets in it like Atlanta. And if the team can stay in Atlanta and find an owner and be a strong component of a strong NASL down the road, this is absolutely necessary. So making sure that everybody can support. It's not just throwing your money in the hat. You can sign that petition, and it'll send a message pretty loud and clear.
If the Silverbacks are saved, they have to be rebranded. So what kind of name are you thinking about right now?
I don't know. I really like the name Silverbacks, so I don't want to have to rebrand them. I'm a musician. I don't really know about branding and marketing and all that stuff. So I guess if we reach that stage, we're going to have to get in touch with somebody and say, how do we go about doing this? And we got to do it really quickly. I like sports teams names that are big, strong, aggressive animals. So don't get much bigger or stronger than a gorilla. So I don't know. That's a good question. I would love to keep the name, but the previous owner owns the name, and from what I understand, I know it's not official, but what I understand, the name is not for sale.
If it was, how much do you think it would cost?
Ooh, quite a bit, I'm sure. I'm sure he would ask for the moon for that.
So the previous owner of the club, he is thinking about a reserve team for Atlanta United. So what are your thoughts on that?
No, he's not. He's not affiliated with Atlanta United. We've had the last couple of years. We've had the Silverbacks reserves, which have participated in the NPSL. They do play at Silverbacks Park, and so there will be an Atlanta Silverbacks next year, and they will play at Silverbacks Park, but they will be in the NPSL.
There were reports saying that he is linked and friends with the owner of Atlanta United, and there may be a reserve team for that club.
You know, that wouldn't surprise me. The MLS now requires all of their teams to have a USL team, so it wouldn't surprise me a bit if he took that and tried to make it the USL team here in town and called the Silverbacks and play at Silverbacks Park and be Atlanta United's reserve squad. I would hope he would not do that, because I think you can look right here in Atlanta at the Braves example. The Atlanta Braves AAA team is in Gwinnett, and nobody pays any attention to them, and they can't give away tickets. They convinced Gwinnett County to build them a stadium, and they've had to refinance that stadium twice because they're not even coming close to selling the number of tickets and generating the amount of revenue that they had thought they would, or that they claimed they would. This is a big league town, and it wants big league sports. It doesn't want minor league sports.
I know people think the NASL is a minor league, but what is the feeling in the ATL?
You know, unfortunately, way too many people in this town don't even know the Silverbacks exist. It has a small but very loyal following, but I think, and it's been poorly run for 20 years. I think the right person comes in who's willing to invest in the marketing, who's willing to take on MLS and not shy away from competing with them. I think very easily they could fill up that stadium 2 or 3 times over. But it's going to take somebody with some courage and with quite a lot of cash.
Thanks, Paul, for coming on. Had a great chat about the future of the trust. If people want to become a member or sign that petition, NASLAtlantaTrust.org. Check it out. Spread the word with your friends, with other footy supporters around the world.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.